Hello, Linda. How are you doing today? I don't know, my computer's been acting crazy all day long. I haven't been able to do certain things. I think my keyboard is gone crazy. I think I got a bunch of glitter stuck in it. Because it is not, I could barely get myself logged into stuff. I'm like, what is going on? Hi, Karen. We're gonna make us some little cherries attachment tonight. So I'm gonna get started because it's quite a lot. I didn't glue in my eyes because I'm going to use them on this one if I can get them the right way. There they go. So this is our cherry. This one I did on the poster board, which I don't know. When I was doing it, I don't know what I was doing because it's too flimsy. So you must make your base on the foam board because this is just too wiggly and I think it would not be as sturdy. So this is what our little face is going to look like. I've made the little shoes and I'm going to make one of those, and I've already made the hands, but I'm going to show you how I put those together. I'm not getting any, I don't know why it's not giving me comments. But anything that, if you have questions, just message me and I will answer them because I'm not getting comments anywhere. Except, well, maybe now I am, but I'm not getting anything there, so I don't know. So, let's get started. We're going to start with the hand, and with this pattern, you will have a little mitt that I made, a little mitt like this. And let's swing this down here so you can get an intense look at what I'm doing. And I used felt. No, I didn't. Fleece. So when you're cutting out fleece for the feet and for the hands, you want to make sure that your stretch is going to be on the side. With fleece, some of it it will have maybe a two-way stretch. This only has a one-way, so I want to make sure, because you want to have a little bit of stretch once I glue this in so that it will give you that poofiness, especially with the foot. Let me get some of this stuff out of my way. I've got a million little pieces to put together. Hi, Karen. And we'll get started. Get some glue sticks because I'm going to have the glues all over. So I cut this out. Now you can make this smaller if you want, and you just really just take off here, depending on what size you want for your little hands and your feet for this. But I am going to, this can be sewn too if you're a sewer. That's why I left it a little bit bigger, because I probably, for myself, if I was making this for myself and not, because some people don't sew, I would have sewed it because I'm a sewer. So we're just going to put some glue around the edge. You want to make sure you got the right side on there. And when you're cutting it out, when you're going around with thumb, make sure you got both pieces pulled out, because I've cut off on the underside. I've had the thumb, I think, 3 times. So we're just going to lay down just a little bit of glue, try to get it around the edge, because you can kind of trim it after if it isn't the right, looks a little wanky on you. And then I usually put my fingers through it after I get all done to make sure I've got it all glued in. Pressing that down. So how's everyone tonight? Are you cold? It's warming up. I think it's like in the 20s here. We're having like a little heat wave. Probably a little colder than that with the windshield because it's windy out there. I was thinking my internet probably going to go kind of crazy on you tonight. you know, where it goes around in circles, because we've got some high winds tonight, I guess, out there. I haven't been out all day. Got to go out tomorrow. I think we're supposed to have some snow, which will be just lovely. So now we got this all glued down together. And we're going to check it to make sure that we got it all enclosed. This right here needs a little bit more. Let it dry. And I'm going to stick my finger through there to make sure I got everything glued up. You want to leave a little opening at the bottom here so that when you can shove your stuffing, because we're going to use stuffing for this. Let's see if I can get my big ass, my fingers are quite large. In here, okay, we got that. Okay, it looks like it is, but you can always, and I'm going to use a little bit of stuffing, and look at how, I don't know, the stuffing used to be so white, but it's not white no more. And we're going to stuff that in there just to make it look a little bit, you know, poofy like this one right here. Just a little. And then when you stick in your arm part of it, you can have something to it to stick to. We're just going to stick a little bit more in here. That looks good enough. You don't want it to be too poofy. You know, it's kind of like your preference on what you... And I'm going to cut around the edges of this just a little bit. We're not going to cut with these scissors because they're not. Okay. Just to cut it a little bit around the edge. To and so now we have like a little hand. Then you will take your, with the hands, I think, let's see, I think I cut off about 5 inches I use for the hands. You make sure that you got enough sticking inside of there. This is what I'm going to use on one of the legs. But you just stick it inside. You want to make sure that it is in there enough so it doesn't pull out. And then you just glue it all the way around the edge, tight, you know, with the glue. And then I put a little bit of a trim around mine. Now this is like a, I think this is 1/8 of an inch. And I lay it on top and just went around the edges to make sure that it will stay in there with this. And that is your little mitt. After I got these all together, I'm going to tell you something. I was thinking of those M&Ms with the feet and all that. I thought, oh my gosh, they look just like that. So there's our hand. So now we're going to do a little foot. And that, I have a piece of the foam board cut out, and it's just, and then you cut out a little bit of piece. You want to make sure that it stretches from the sides. You're going to leave an opening down here so you can shove your stuffing in it. And I'll probably cut some of this off because it looks, but you want to leave, you don't want it to be glued on tight like this. You want to make sure you leave a little bit on there so that you can push stuffing up there so it gives you that little pushy look like this. So we're going to start at the top. And let me make sure I got this right bite. Yep, I do. Okay. And we're just going to stuff it down there around the edges. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of this off because it looks like a lot. Okay. just go right around the edge. And stick it down. Let's get some of this stuff out of your way so you can see what I'm doing. I'll have to bring this down a little bit more, maybe. I'm not sure. Just one second. What are you doing? Yes. Okay. Now we're going to glue on this side. Maybe I'll take a little bit more off. Just so you have enough to be able to stuff it in there. See, so when you pull it up, because this has got a little bit of stretch to it. Now we're going to stuff some of this down inside of there. To make your little foot. See, and so you're going to have a little bit of a raised area, and that is going to be to make it look like a little foot. And if you want to make these bigger, you can. You know, I just tried to make it like proportion to what my size of my cherries. But they do look like those M&M things that do their little dance. That's what I kept looking at. After I was looking at them, thinking, what's these remind me of? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, they look like those little M&M people. Stuff it in there. And I'm just going around here where I think there's a little bit of an opening and squishing it down. And I think I might take a little bit of this off around the back so that it stays down. Hold it for a second to make sure that it adheres to the board. And the type of board I get, I like the thinnest one that there is, because otherwise sometimes it's really hard to get your, when you're trying to cut out your pattern, to get all the little nicks and crannies that there are. It's kind of hard if it's really thick to get that all in there. And I used to get those, I get it from the Dollar Tree, if they have it. Mine was having where they didn't have any white, they only had black, so I had to, but I finally found some place that had a poster board. And you end up with a little foot like this. And then I use, this is the foam sparkled, and I'm gonna put that on the bottom of it. And I cut it out to be about the same size because we're going to put a little bit of trim around the edges of it. So I'm going to put some on top of this so that we can get it all to lay down nice. And then squish it down on top. Hey, Carolyn. And make sure you don't stick it to your table. I didn't know if you guys were still in the business meeting. I had to go out of it. I don't know what was happening, but my, I was getting like every third word of whatever she was saying. So now this is going to be my little leg, and I want to be able to stick in at least this much inside of there, and I'm going to cut a hole in here to stick it through, and then we'll glue it in, and I'm doing like a crisscross little, like that, so that it can be stuck in there. Now I will tell you about one thing about, this is like, I forget what they call these. I got this from Amazon, and it comes with so many in a box. It's called Snowy Young, but it's like, I wanted really thick pipe cleaners, but I couldn't find any, and then I seen this stuff, and this is just too cute, so I ended up getting it. It's a little bit pricey, I think. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it wasn't cheap. But it comes in a box, and I think I got a bunch of green colors because I wasn't sure what color green I wanted to use. And then I thought maybe I'd use white, and so then I bought a box with some pastel colors. And I'm just sticking my glue gun down in there to glue it in. And then I'm going to press it down. So that it sticks. The only thing is, when you cut this, it kind of, I was going to tape it and then I didn't, and then I just took some glue and put it around it. That's the only thing, is this stuff starts to come off. So I would advise, if I have to cut this one, I'll put tape on it and cut through the tape so that this doesn't come apart, because it kind of falls off. Let's see if these are about, yeah, they are. Okay. And then, and I had this trim, I like this, and I think it's like, I don't know if this is an 1/8. It's not a half, so probably an 1/8 trim. And I got this off of Amazon too, because I wanted something red. Maybe it needs a little bit more. You just want to get your glue gun tip between the fleece and this pipe cleaner. But I'll put all that in my supply list of where I got them and what they're called. But my initial, I looked up pipe cleaner, but I wanted thick ones. No, I couldn't tell. Well, I did order some regular pipe cleaners, and when I got them, I sent them back because they weren't big enough. So now we're going to start at the back of the foot and just go around the edges. Now you could use a regular, you want to make sure that you pat that down pretty good, because otherwise you get like a, if the glue hardens before you get it all there, it makes a little crevice. And this is just a glitter foam that, you know, you can get that at Walmart or the craft stores or Amazon. I use a lot of that with my ice skates that I make. So when I was thinking about making those, I'm thinking, now if you can make ice skates, you can make a little booty foot, right? You just want to make sure you press in so that it gets around there. and cut it where it overlaps the edge of it and just glue it on down. And there you got a little foot. This doesn't feel right. I think I need more glue in there. I thought I got enough shoved in there. And if you wanted to, you could even put like a little trim around the edges of that. So now we have our 4 little feet, okay? We got our arms, and this is our little sample arm. We don't need any more of that. Okay. So now we have 2 of these, 2 that we're gonna put together, and I have this little form right here, so I know, because I want them to overlap, and by wanting them to overlap, you want to have enough here that will make it sturdy. As I said, when I made these, I don't know what I was thinking. I started gluing the quilting stuff, and I thought, oh my gosh, I did it to just the poster board. That is not going to be sturdy enough. So I have 2 pieces, the double. This is double of the quilting material here. And I like the one that comes off the roll. I don't think it's any more expensive than, and you know, you can get off the big rolls that you find at Joann's, and that you can get a yard of it, you can get a half a yard of it, whatever you want. I just like this better because it doesn't seem to come apart as much. I don't think I got that glued down very good, but it doesn't make any difference. As long as you got these a little bit glued, once you put your material on top of it, it's not going to go anywhere. But I just prefer that because it doesn't, the other stuff isn't as firm, I guess. So, and with this gives you a little bit of a, if you set your poster board on top of just the regular stuff, you can make your little, make a curve here where you're going to want this to hook onto that so that it doesn't move. And then you can, it's just more or less a form. So this is our material, and I'm using the shiny, this is like bathing suit material or active material or whatever. It's got a 2-way stretch on it, and you really want that when you're doing something like this because it gives it, I know it is. I know, and I haven't been there. I'm going there tomorrow. Yes, they're the thick ones. If you, I got these on Amazon, and if you put in thick pipe cleaners in there, they will come up. Because this is in a, I mean, you can get it. This is all green. I think I got black, because I thought I could use it for something else, and a box of these. I think a box of these are like $19. This has the pastel colors. I thought maybe I could do something with this with my Easter eggs, and I know they're in, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if they go out of business, what will I do? Joann, Hobby Lobby doesn't carry a lot of the, you know, their material is limited on what they carry. And buying it online, which, you know, I've done that too, unless you really know your materials, you know, the names of them, that you end up sending a lot of crap back. It's kind of scary. So if you find some, because I know, Linda, you make things, let me know if you find someone that has, if they completely go out. I know of them, I know they're closing a bunch of stores, but I'm hoping that they're not going to close all the ones by me. All right, so here, this is where we're going to have our little dip there. So of course we want to cut that in so we can get it to lay, you know, flat, where it's not going to wrinkle up. Okay, now this is the one where we have to, we're only going to go to so far with this. to put it down because we're gonna make it come in, we want this to come in flat so when we stick this in there's not a big bulge. So I am hoping, let me see, yeah, we're gonna start over here to pull our material. Just and this is probably more material than I actually needed, but I think it's better to have more than not enough. Just press it down because you can cut it off. And then we'll start over here on this side. Now we're not going to go all the way through that. But we're just going to pull it up to about there. And I can always pull it out if I want to adjust it. And make sure you got this pulled in here. You want it to be tight, so that we can eliminate some of the so we're just putting a little line of glue and then pull it over. And just push it in. So we can try to make it as smooth as possible. So our edge goes all the way to here, so we're going to be bringing this around all the way to this area over here. And if you wanted to, you can mark it on the out your back side, you know, that you're, I might have brought it over a little further than I should have on the other side, but that's not a problem. So we're going to just keep doing the same thing. Okay, so see, this is going to be just laying down there. Let's get this. I'm going to cut this right here, just around the edges. And then you can see if you missed any little glue parts with where you pulled it in, there's like a little pleat, finger pleats. And you can just stick your gun right down in through there and catch the glue. That's what I do. So this came up a little bit, so we're gonna put a little bit of glue there. Get it down. Now I would advise any type of material that you're gonna use for this, you want to make sure that it has two-way, you know, you want it to stretch both ways because it just makes it a lot easier. You could use like a woven, cotton woven on it. That's possible. Or to cut off that excess there. Then I'm just going to glue it down. But I think it would take you a lot more to get all the wrinkles out. You know what I mean? Going around it. Where with this you can pull it and tug it. There is a big, yeah, I know. I don't know how, do you know how many they're going to be closing out? Are they closing them all, or are they just some of them? I'm going to pull this up here because I want that to, I can get my fingernails to be okay with it. I don't know if they're closing all of them in Michigan or not. I haven't really looked into it too much. Now we're gonna fix the ones that we have not. And we're gonna just set that right over there. And we're gonna do this one. I should have maybe done this one because most of the attachments that I've been making for you guys are done on the poster board, because some people don't sew. Some people do, some people don't. I was always a sewer. So this is a little bit different, you know, for me to do this. And I'm cutting it down where I got that little bit of a... We're just going to do the same thing on this one. Bring it all the way around. Hopefully I can get this on there faster than I did the last one. Just pull it and make sure you get it taped down. The hardest part probably is getting it around the edges where you've got a and just keep going around. Yep. Let's start on this side over here. Fleece would probably be the best. I always find with these things, fleece is probably the best type of material, but if they don't have any shiny stuff, you know. This is probably a little bit harder to use this type of material because it's not very thick, so every little crevice and everything shows. But I just think that you can't get the same look. So there we go, we got it all the way around. So now we're going to glue it with this over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up so that we got them kind of equal, you know, so they're straight across and at the top. So I'm going to glue this down a little bit so we don't have any creases here. Set it up. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put some glue down. Try not to get it too close to the edge on this side right here so that it doesn't, when you're pressing it down, it doesn't, the glue doesn't just, you know, bubble up a little bit. But we can fix that too. So we got those both together, just like that. That's pretty good. And then I'm gonna go around and I should have probably cut this off before, but we'll improvise. Improvision. Hey Susan, I didn't see you. Hi girl. We're making us some cherries. Cut off all this excess. And you know what? I forgot to cut a back out. Oh dear. There were a lot of steps to these little boogers. But you know, I'll be honest with you, this is not it's not hard. It's not a hard pattern at all. I mean, if you've done any of the other attachments, it's more or less the same kind of thing. Probably the feet, you know, getting the feet and the hands are a little bit probably the most awkward, but you don't really have to put those on there. You really don't. You know, this is cute even with just the two together. So now I got these eyes from Dabra. They're already done because I am not very talented at drawing. I can do a lot of things, but that is not Debbie's thing. So I bought eyes that you can buy from her, and they come in packages like this. I think they're $12 for, I think 12, and I got a couple of different ones, but I liked that one because I don't know, I just liked it better. But you can get them like this, and you can get these. I was going to use these, but they just seemed a little bit bigger, and then I was going to put false eyelashes on them, but I kind of stuck with these because they kind of fit the face a little bit better. And that's what I can, if you can draw, by all means, draw your eyes on. Or you can cut out and do, you know, you can put them together. You can put them far apart. This is like the girl, this is the boy. You know, however you want them. And then the mouth, I just made her a little mouth like this that I will send a pattern. If you're, you know, I'm telling you, if you can draw better than I can, by all means, make a mouth. And this is just made out of the glitter foam, and this is done with, this one has the adhesive on the back. I thought I brought some over here, but evidently I didn't, because the white, yeah. See, it has the adhesive on the back, and all you do is just draw your little pitch, whatever you're going to do, and then cut it out. You see, here's one of mine. See how bad that looks? That's how well I draw. I can do a lot of things, but stick people. So this is hers, and you could have, would have done these probably in pink, but I didn't have any. I have like all these colors of this stuff, and I didn't have any pink. I had hot pink, but it was more of a, I don't know. It just wasn't good. And then I made him this little one like this with the, and then I cut some little teeth out to make them look kind of cute. And we're just going to glue that on top of this. And make sure I didn't take the paper off first. I should have probably took the paper off first. We'll see which one I like better. This one or that one. Okay, and then you just peel the back off, and then it sticks. And you might have to, you know, add a little bit more glue to it. But we're gonna just, let me see which one. I might like this one. I like this one better. We're gonna stick this here on there to make him a little face, and that makes her look like a little girl. We'll stick their eyeballs on. Yeah, that looks good. The pattern that I got these cherries off of Canva, and then I got the picture of them, you know, and then I took it and did my pattern for them. But this is off of if you use Canva, they're in Canva. This cherry is set of cherries, and I just made a pattern from it. And glue her eyeballs on. Let's see. And if you wanted, you could use some, you could put some false eyelashes on hers. I kind of put his down and putting hers up. Her little. And I was going to do that. But you can, you know, you can gussy these up a little bit more than what I've done. Take it another level. So there we got their mouth. Aren't they cute? Do you think they're cute? I think they're just so cute. Hey, Susan. So now we got the leg, their feet. Okay, these are on there tight. So I'm thinking, let me see, I hope these are about all the same length, maybe not. Let's make sure we got them all the same. So let's try it with the tape, because when you do cut these or whatever, let's make them all about the same. So when you do, the stuff does start to come apart on the wire, because I don't. So usually when I'm doing something that has, you know, like roping and all that, I usually put tape on it and then cut it. Yeah, that's much better. I took glue and just smeared it all around it, but this has got this fuzzy stuff, so it's a little bit, see now there's not even any at that top, that where it's cut off. I don't even know how they have this on there. I don't know how they get it to stick, because it doesn't feel like it's stuck on there really that good. Once you cut it, it starts kind of like coming apart. So I'm going to leave that one there. We are going to put some more tape on this one. But when I'm using trim and stuff, if it's going to unravel, that's usually how I put it on the edge so it doesn't all come apart. Hi, Dub. Glad you can make it. It is really cute. And you know, you could really doll this up if you want to. Go take it a few steps more than what I've done. Okay. So we're gonna, I think that, let me see, let's put it together and I'll know how. There's no right or left foot either, girls. Just so you know. right, let's glue these on, and then we will, let me see, I'm going to put some tape around this too. Because the wire, what happens is, it like slides down further than the wire, and you really want to get that wire in there glued in too, because otherwise it won't stay on. So we got one here. I even got little cherries. You could probably just glue a couple little cherries to these, those little real small ones I have. And then we'll put one over here. And I think these legs, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna put some, let's see what's going on here. They're not coming up. I'm going to turn this up a little bit higher so I can get some of this. Somehow my glue has got stuck in here, so let's pipe it up a little bit. So I'm going to put his little arm, her arm, this will be her arm right there. Hey, Lisa. Not seeing everybody that's coming in here. I'm gonna put it up there so it will be glued, and then after I can glue it behind. Oh, nope, we want that there. Glue it underneath here because I want it to be able to stand up. This might take a little bit more time to do because I'll probably put a little bit of stick fast on this. I'll put this on for you guys to see how I do it or where I'm putting them, but I will stick fast those. And that's like a crazy glue. Stick fast that I put on almost all of my stuff, but it takes a longer time to set up. So I usually use the hot glue, and then I use that on it to make it not move, and it normally it don't move. I want that to stay. It's coming out now, baby. We don't want to have none of that stuff on our fingers. No, no. Let's let that set up. Well, it's going to take a little bit more longer than I thought. Just one moment. Let's see if I can put me on here so I can get this stuck on. Harden up, harden up. That's okay. All right, and then we're going to put the legs on, and all I'm going to do is the same thing I did on there. You can bend these down, bring it up, and put it like a little bit like a L, so that you've got those coming on it just like that. Now I'm going to wait to put those on because it's going to take a long time for that to dry, but I will show you now. If you want to put on the top, that's still really sticky. It's going to take a long time to set up, as I can see. What I was going to do is I'm going to take it from each end of this. This is how long this comes. It comes, it's like, I think it's a yard of this. So for my stem, so that I don't have it, if you want to put a stem on it, now you don't have to put a stem on it. I really wasn't going to, but I was going to show you how you could, with this, make a stem. But I'm thinking, because one of the ends, you want it to be long enough to come up and over for there, to that, but you want to be able to push it down on each end so that you can glue this part of it to your cherries, okay? And then at the top, I have a couple of leaves that I was going to put on there with a little cherry that I don't even see here. I don't even know where I set it, on top. I will show you guys that on the finished thing, because this is not drying really fast. I don't know why, but this is our project. I don't want this to come loose, and he will have legs on it, and I will. All I know is that this stuff right here is going to take a little bit more time to adhere to this poster board. And I'm going to use some of the stick fast on it and just tack it and then let it sit up for a few hours with the legs in that, because otherwise it'll probably just come off without the crazy glue kind of stuff on it. Okay, I think, yeah. All right, I'm going to lose these, so we're going to put those over like that. There's sticking, okay? And maybe I can show you. See, I was thinking of the stems to come along and on the end like that, and then using, I just took these off of a flower, or you could use even something, anything off of some of your greens or anything that you're using. Use that for a stem, or you could even, if you have, I didn't look because I decided to use this crazy green color. You know, I like this better with it, the lighter green, and I didn't look for a light green leaf for this. But I will get this all glued together, and I will have a supply list for this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It just, if I put the legs on, they're just going to come off unless I got the stick glue on there. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. And I'm going to make a big strawberry. Now, how many of you guys, do you guys, any of you sew? Or any of you sewers out there? Or no? No sewers? Were we going to answer me? If you're sewers, I can give you, you know, because some of this stuff, it can all be done with sewing too. You know, if you're not a person that is you know, make attachments. Most of the ones that I make are usually with sewing. I can get you a pattern to be able to just sew them. Like these cherries could be done. You are, of course you are. I don't sew. Okay, all right. then we'll be, you know, doing more with glue. But in order for this stuff to stick on, because of the wire and everything, I might even staple them first and then glue them. But I know the stick fast is going to have to go on, or otherwise it's not going to stay on the poster board. But I will show you the end results of this probably tomorrow afternoon. Because I got to go to the doctor's in the morning. But next week, I think, or 2 weeks from now, I think I'm going to do I was cutting out the stuff for a big, for some strawberries. You're seeing a lot of the big strawberries, and I think I got a pretty good, cute pattern for the big strawberries to use for attachments. There's some really cute ones. But some of them are, the ones you see are sewn, but I'm going to see if I can't get them where we can do them like this. All right, thank you guys for staying here with me. I hope you learned something tonight. And if there's anything you really want me to look into doing, just let me know. Because I like to make different things. I will see you later, and have a good week. And I hope you all stay nice and warm and don't have bad weather. Bye.